Hello, DappCon. How's it going? Who's ready to talk meme coins? Yeah, okay, I like the energy. Excellent. So, let me take you back on a little journey. This is back in 2013. We're living out in Silicon Valley, and we were just actually in the process of selling our last startup. And one of our early backers, Jeff Hammerbacher, who's the co-founder of Cloudera, made that statement, which at the time got a lot of attention. The best minds of my generations are thinking about how to make people click ads. That sucks. And it's interesting because that was really a feeling that at the time really started brewing almost as a tension in Silicon Valley, because yeah, it's true, a lot of the smartest people coming out of graduate programs and like working in machine learning and like other things went doing stuff that on the surface didn't seem very productive, and there was sort of a growing number of people who was basically saying, hey, couldn't those skills be applied to solve problems in bio, in like advancing society in other areas? And I was chatting with someone recently about what's happening currently with meme coins, and I sort of like, I felt there was sort of an analogy in some ways. And so yeah, the question I want to put out there is the best minds of our generation right now are thinking how to make people gamble meme coins. That sucks. And maybe it's not as extreme as with ads yet, but it certainly feels like there's a lot of excitement right now around meme coins, and a lot of smart people are spending their brain cells on figuring out how to launch meme coins. Now, not so fast, Rene, right? And folks here active on crypto Twitter will have seen the debate. Hey, this is a cultural movement, there's a lot of value. Of course, in the space in general, we want to encourage experimentation. And I just want to make sure, or I want to make it clear, I get that, I appreciate it, but does it have to be so much, right? So I think there are some kind of elements here. I really actually thought Dovi's post was, had some really interesting points there, right, in terms of capturing some of that maybe cultural tension that this generation is feeling, kind of being fed up with the traditional financial system and sort of, a counterculture. And the more I was kind of also reading some of that, I was like, well, actually, you know what? In a sense, this is why maybe all of us are here for, right? And meme coins are kind of a great outlet right now. But that maybe suggests that the dApps we've been building so far haven't really delivered on being, sort of that accessible to mainstream, and being sort of, in a way filling that void that meme coins are filling. So, yeah, it got me thinking a little bit, okay, what are the things we can do to, in a way, channel that energy into applications that we're building? It's not working. Okay, this is like, you guys probably remember this early internet meme of the dancing baby, and then, the famous Apple ad. So imagine these as kind of actually videos, moving pictures, but you get the idea. I guess what it comes down to is like, do we channel our energy in creating what, can be cute, memorable memes, maybe even made some people famous, or are we here to build applications and brands, right, that can capture really, massive audiences, right, and become, what I would want to suggest, in some ways, Apple is, as a cult, is in a sense also has kind of some of that meme culture, and very successful brands can take a lot of that energy. And so how do we maybe take some of that kind of learning and channel it into the applications we build? So I want to take you back. This is 1 year ago, same stage. Together with the team from Opera, we announced the launch of MiniPay. MiniPay is a Web3 wallet that's built directly into Opera's Mini browser. For those of you not familiar, it's the most popular browser in, for example, Africa, over 90% market share in many markets, over 100 million users. It's massive. It's really like the gateway to the internet for a lot of the local population. They do a lot of things uniquely, right, for that audience, and for example, subsidizing bandwidth, right, and just making it a very lightweight experience that works extremely well on also low-end Android phones. And what I wanted to do here in these next few minutes is take you a little bit kind of through that journey. So recently, MiniPay announced that they've crossed 2 million activations. So still small in terms of their total audience, and some of that growth, is kind of gradual, country by country. There's, obviously always a big question around what is the on and off ramping experience? How easy is it for someone to go from, say, their mobile money to an on-chain dollar? And the team has been doing phenomenal work on that front, so that, for example, right now in Kenya, and this is enabled through different ecosystem builders, so this is not all Opera, but Opera together with the ecosystem on Celo creating that experience. If you're in Kenya and you have M-Pesa, within 30 seconds you can move from M-Pesa, Kenyan shilling, to on-chain dollars back and forth at no fee or almost no fee. And that's massive because now that's really becoming a gate to this new digital economy, and not just a way for people to send dollar stablecoins to each other, but actually access this digital economy and many of the dApps that you guys may be building or dreaming of. So really powerful, still early days, but already phenomenal traction even in these last 6-7 months since we were last here on stage. And yeah, that begs some questions. Why build from MiniPay? And I think a few points here that I've maybe touched on a little bit already. There's a massive audience, right? So they're quickly ramping up to introduce this to all their users. So likely this will become one of the biggest audiences that out there, right? Definitely for Web3 apps. Because it sits in a browser, it's also really easy to bring people back to the experience, right? So if you imagine you use a dApp, you forget about it. It's very hard for a dApp without working with a wallet, right, to actually capture, sort of kind of retain a user, right, or bring a user back. I mean, it's a lot of, reason why people are excited about launching kind of wallet features or even launching their own wallets like Uniswap has done. But this is something that, MiniPay can help with and offers sort of a unique kind of access to. Many of the dApps that have launched so far have seen tens of thousands of users, even within day one or in the first few days. And the application itself has done a fantastic job in really streamlining the onboarding. So it's super simple, even for someone who's new to crypto. You can log in, back up your seed phrase to your Gmail, tie your wallet to a phone number so you can receive and send funds based on phone numbers. And the best part of all, on Celo, you can pay for gas and stablecoins, so you don't have to worry about the complexity of holding either tokens, right, as is the case normally with non-custodial wallets. So really a much lower friction way to actually use applications. So yeah, definitely encourage all of you to take a look at MiniPay and the docs of how to actually kind of very tightly integrate with them. The good news is there's also other apps. Valora, built on Celo, the sort of OG wallet, has over 1 million downloads, is also very active around the world in many markets. And so the beauty here is that by focusing on kind of mobile audiences, we really are able to tap into a kind of new user base. And if you think about creating that Apple-like experience, right, that's really possible now because we have strong wallets, we have amazing on and off ramps that are seamless, right, reducing the friction for signing transactions on mobile and paying for gas and stablecoins. So all of these things that a few years ago were impossible and maybe have led to some of the frustrations, right, for people in this cycle, retail users being more excited about meme coins. But I think for us builders, there's an opportunity to get out there and do a better job in telling people, hey, things have changed. What we're building is a lot more easy to use, and it's actually, it's amazing. Some of these applications, I imagine, will become Apple-like brands, right, in the future because they're solving really unique needs for the users, whether allowing them to save or get access to microcredit, or even just playing a game, right? I think entertainment is obviously not something we should ignore, but I feel there's sort of an opportunity here to channel the energy that we're seeing around meme coins into the applications we're building. And so what's nice is we've, over the last year, seen massive growth in users and daily active users. And you can see even with some of the MiniPay and Valora numbers, we're now kind of really touching millions of users. But the goal is to really have this be a global audience, right, that kind of uses these products on a regular daily basis. And so how do we unlock 1 billion users? And so I just, for those of you that may be a little newer to Zello, just wanted to give sort of a quick overview, right, with the recent announcement and sort of the vote by the Zello community through governance for Zello to become a layer 2 using the OP stack. There's really some excitement now for bringing a lot of the unique Zello features to the broader Ethereum community. And I mentioned some of the things I've mentioned already. We have the sort of human-centered focus, right, where you have gas payable with tokens. You have things like Social Connect, which is a protocol that maps identifiers like phone numbers to wallets. You have the easy on-off ramping, which I think people often overlook, but it's really a critical feature in enabling that really nice experience for users, and some open standards around that, and probably the biggest network across all ecosystems of these local on and off ramp partners. And then I think features that just generally support a growing ecosystem and fast, snappy microtransactions that we would want to see for enabling commerce and payments use cases. And yeah, what does it add all up to? Here's some kind of high-level metrics. So so far since Genesis, so roughly 4 years ago, we've seen over 350 million transactions on Zello, over 138 million wallet addresses. And one metric that we're tracking closely is really that DAU wallet, what are the daily active wallets, right? Because I think that's a strong signal for people actually using products on-chain every day. And you can see Zello there, taken a few days ago, number 7. We're we've been in the top 10 across all chains, all products, sometimes a little higher, sometimes a little lower, but I think it's a really strong signal for what people are building has sort of that kind of daily relevance, has that kind of maybe real-world relevance, to put it more appropriately, and also a broad audience in over 150 countries. All right. With that, today we have a very special announcement I'm really excited about, and it's something that over the last few months we've felt there was sort of a really strong inflow of founders coming to us and asking us, like in many cases, like the same question, and we're giving some of the same answers. And so we're like, okay, wait a second, there is something here. This is clearly a need, and it kind of hit us a little bit that maybe we should formalize this into a program. So today, I'm super excited to announce that we're launching Bloom, which is an ecosystem launchpad for founders that are looking to go through the TG through a token launch, and really supporting them along the way. And this is not just like making an intro here and there, something that your investor should hopefully do if you have investors for your project, but really rolling up our sleeves and helping people in what, speaking from sort of own experience of being sort of been through the process of token launches before, it's probably the hardest, toughest, most intense, stressful time as a founder. And also a time where you make a bunch of decisions in a very short amount of time that can have sometimes pretty binary effects on the outcome. And so, we felt this is already something we were doing, right, kind of more informally in conversations, but we really felt there was an opportunity here to turn this into just more of a formal program and get, just very organized, even on our side in terms of the team, in terms of the resources, to support founders in that process. And we have an advantage that we're not an investor, we're not an exchange, we're not a market maker. We don't have a sort of subjective view on this, right? Where we kind of want one thing more than something else, maybe for our own good, but we're looking at this from a perspective of what's going to maximize the long-term success of a project, and what are the pitfalls that we've seen happen based on all the token launches we've seen in the ecosystem. But also like leveraging relationships that we've had in the ecosystem for many years. I've been doing this now for 7 years, so there's a lot of learnings there that we just want to more proactively pass along to the next set of founders going through this process. So you can see some examples here. A lot of this is, Agile is going to be moving target based on what founders have the highest need for. It's also not supposed to be like a cohorted, structured program where you have to do all the pieces, but it's more like we're hoping that on our side we can sort of have a formal offering, but then work with teams and basically say, hey, here are the 2-3 pieces that are most relevant for you. Let's structure a path for you and how we can support you. Maybe sometimes directly with resources that otherwise the project would have to pay for. Sometimes just by connecting them to the right people. Sometimes rolling up our sleeves and spending a few days together on a few topics. So it really depends on the needs of the project. But the idea is to across all of the projects that we would work with, you have a meaningful impact on the success of that process. So yeah, super excited to announce this today. If you're interested to learn more, bloom.cello.org has more information and also a form to contact us and learn more about it. But yeah, we've had a little session this morning already with a few founders that we know are planning to go through this process in the next 2 to 6 months, and yeah, there's a lot of excitement for this, so we're hoping to bring this to a lot more projects. Excellent. With that, yeah, maybe just closing on our mission. Cello is actually an Esperanto word, it means purpose, and we're here to build with purpose and building for all. And with that, I thank you all for spending this time with me indoors here instead of outside in the Berlin sunshine, and hope you have a great rest of the conference. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rene. Yeah, we have some time for questions. So if anyone has any for Rene, please raise your hand. Okay, I actually have a question for you, Rene. Bloom, it sounds really, really cool. Can anyone apply for this?
Yeah, I should have said that. Yeah, thank you. So it's really open for anyone to apply. I think projects that we're most excited about, and we obviously will have limited capacity to, we can't help everyone, right? But the teams that we will be most excited about are teams that are really focusing on real-world impact, on launching or that have launched maybe products or launching products that have that kind of real-world impact. So yeah, definitely sort of an edge if that's what you're working on. But generally, everyone is open to apply. Yeah.
Sounds awesome. Really exciting.
Thank you.
Then that's it.
Awesome.
Thanks so much, Rene.
Thanks.
Everyone give a big round of applause.